Welcome back to Module 4. This week we're going to cover creating safety with others and anywhere you go. This is internal, this is your own personal responsibility to keep yourself safe wherever you go. Now, this is the fourth of the module. Remember, we're building on each one, and we're predicating everything we talk about this time around the first three sessions. So this is about your ownership. This is about where you want to go and the cost you're going to have to pay to achieve this. All right. So here we go. With session 141, we're going to look at the work to create a relationship vision that you long for. There's going to be some work you got to do there. Then you're going to look at what has enough value for you to make the next right step. Sometimes we don't make that next step because the fear of losing something until we see the value of what we achieve is worth far more. And so one of the things I want to just mention here off the top is that a lot of the people that I've worked with, a lot of the couples I've worked with over the 40 years of doing this, and the last 8 years of doing this around addictions and so forth, is that sometimes couples are not willing to take the risk. They're too afraid because they can't see what they want. They don't see the treasure, and they fold. Now, that's a possibility. Some of you may not choose to go this way. Some don't. Some don't want to pay the cost because they don't see the value of what they're going to get. So one of the deals we're going to do this in this session right here is that we're going to look at that. All right? Now, I give you my own personal example of a vision of marriage in my own life is that when I started dating my present wife and we were saying, well, what do we want out of life? And I can remember me emailing her or sending her my vision, a vision of who I wanted to be and a vision of who she wanted to be. And it's like she reciprocated. She sent it back to me, and it was like suddenly we're going to realize, wow, there's somebody I'm willing to step into this place of vulnerability and relationship and intimacy because we're going the same direction. We believe in our hearts the same. It was kind of like this morning when, we were coming to this point of saying, yes, we do want to, and boy, over the years we've experienced it. It's been wonderful. My wife came into the kitchen this morning and I had breakfast ready, and she said to me, "Oh, I just can't believe how this is. It's just so wonderful." And I responded and reciprocated. She said, "This is incredible. After all these years, this is incredible." And I said, "What do you think?" And she says, "What do you think has brought the value to this? What do you think has really given?" She says, "Because we wanted the same thing. We had the same vision." The scripture says, one of the old minor prophets would say, how can two walk together unless they agree? Bottom line, it's a rhetorical statement. It's not even a question. It's a statement saying it can't. If you or your partner want to go in opposite directions and they choose one direction, you can't, unless you want to go that direction, you're not going to end up together. It doesn't matter what you do. So one of the things I want you to do is this was something that my wife and I did over the years, is to create this vision and to continue to tweak it. I'll cover a little bit of that a little later, how to do that, but it's like that's the goal. It's kind of like looking at these things. Everything is created twice. Many years ago, when my life fell all apart, I kind of lost my bearings of who I was and where I was, and it dawned on me through that process is that I had achieved what I had created in my mind already. I had created this vision years before, and what I believed about myself and what I believed about relationship. And then I found somebody that would believe the same thing as I did, and we ended up there. I can't blame anybody for that. That was my vision, the vision of myself, the vision of where we were headed, and I created it. It happened. What I began to learn is okay, if I made thousands of decisions to get where I was, and that was really not a good place, is that then I have, and I'll own it, then I have the power and ability to choose myself to a new life. Now, where will that be? And that's where it comes to this. I began to learn to create a vision. I began to see in my mind, my imagination, it's like, what could it be? How far, what could it be like? And I began to build a vision. If I was to ever get married again, this is what I wanted. This is what I want to be like. This is what I longed for. Maybe it won't ever happen, I don't know. And then just like God's word says, it was incarnated and brought into being. It's very much like this gizmo we have here. There was a day when some guy says, man, I'm really tired of running back and forth to my computer trying to hit buttons to change the slides. I just need some kind of little gizmo that I can push and make it happen. And he came up with the idea in his head. Then he manufactured it. Made a lot of money, probably. I sure like my gizmo. And it's like he saw it first in his mind, and then he made it. There's not anything you can see around you that has not been created twice. What do you see in your mind? That's what you're going to create in your life. So I encourage you as you look at this thing. You know, this is not new. Paul said it in Ephesians 3:20. He says, you know, whatever you think up, whatever you could ask, God will give you beyond, abundant beyond all you could imagine or ask, according to that power that's within you. It's not even your power, it's his power. It's kind of like God throwing down the gauntlet to us and saying, okay, why don't you ask? Why don't you begin to dream? Why don't you begin to envision what a relationship could be like? And then trust the power that's within you. Trust me and see what I do. I never would imagine having what I have today was possible. It's kind of like years ago, many, many years ago, Michelangelo unveiled this archangel, Michael. And everybody goes, whoa, you know, how does it, what is this? This is incredible, the detail, the fight, this is something else. And says, how did you do this? And so Michelangelo responded by saying, I saw the angel in the marble, and I carved until I set him free. You know, that's what I'm challenging you to do. What do you see in the marble that you're going to apply the work and apply the effort and apply the cost that it's going to take to achieve that? Because if you can see that end results in your mind of where you want to head, then it's worth whatever it takes to get there. And if you got somebody that will enter into that too, then you too, nothing can stand in your way. You will achieve it. I've also noticed that we talked about ambient anxiety, and one of the things that creates most anxiety in individuals and couples is not knowing where to go, or in a relationship where you don't think the other is going in the same direction or the same things you want. It feels lonely. It increases fear around abandonment or being left behind or whatever else, being rejected. However, when you begin to get a real grip on where you want to go and what you want to achieve and what you want to accomplish, the anxiety lowers. I've seen this over and over and over where couples and individuals even, this is where I want to go. This is who I want to be. This is what I long for. They begin that anxiety, there's a peace and a serenity comes over you. I will do what it takes. That's what I want. It's that concept of what do you treasure in your heart? Whatever you treasure, whatever you long for, and whatever you treasure, the scripture says that it'll reside in your heart. And so, what is it that you treasure about your marriage? What do you want in your marriage? Now, I'm going to challenge you in this assignment is to determine and decide what is it that you value and treasure. What is going to be worth enough, have enough value that you'll pay whatever it costs to get there. So I want you to take some time out. I want you to think through, what would that look like? I want you to spend time in your journal writing out what you want. Write out a vision of a relationship you desire. Maybe it's not there yet, but this becomes your treasure. Now, some of the things you're going to look at is, what does it look like? How will you feel when you're in that relationship? You know, how will you be treated? You know, what will you do together with this other person? Maybe some things like how we will as a couple handle finances, how we as a couple will pursue healthy sexuality and intimacy, how we as a couple will pursue parenting our children. You know, put these things down. I want you to spend some time writing this. And when you get through, just take as much time as you need to. When you get through this thing, now you're going to begin to see a treasure. Now, you're going to tweak it and change it and add to it and adjust it over time. My wife and I have done it over the years. We keep tweaking and changing and adjusting it. But it's always keep going to that same goal. And it's always mutual. It's always something that we are together doing. I encourage you to do that. Take the time needed to go do it. See you in the next session.